Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to In the Spotlight with Jill Nicolini on Business Talk Radio, where we take your business to the next level. And welcome back to Business Talk Radio. We are joined again by Andrew Aaron, marriage counselor, sex therapist, psychotherapist, you name it. New Bedford, Massachusetts is where he is, and helpforpassion.com is his website, but he helps people all over. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and maybe helping to make a little bit of difference to improve people's lives.
Great, and you always do. Just for starters, we have to get to know you. For those new listeners tuning in, please give us a little bit of your background.
Sure. For the past 25 years, I think a little bit longer now, I've been devoted to learning about people, learning about their lives, and helping to understand so I can help them to love a little better, be a little closer, feel a little better, love themselves a little bit more. So to improve the quality of people's lives in the form of love relationships, self-esteem, but also in terms of sex, passion, and intimacy.
Got it. Wow. You're a busy man these days, I'm sure. With the pandemic taking place, a lot of people are home dealing with their loved ones in good and bad ways, I'm assuming. Lots have been happening, I know, as far as couples are concerned. Can you give us some insight, of course, how COVID has affected some of your clients?
Yeah, right now in my area, we're in what's called a red zone. This area has seen a sharp increase in COVID infections. So I've had a number of patients who now I'm switching to video because I have COVID positive patients, others who have family members. I also work a lot with medical staff, and many of them are exposed to COVID. So I find in general that 2020 has been a really tough year for lots and lots of people. And the pandemic is kind of like the normal flame stress in people's lives. Well, that flame has been increased. So the pot is boiling at a furious pace this year, and that causes a whole lot of stress for a whole lot of people. And that's a real challenge to personal comfort, well-being, but also parents and families are experiencing a lot of adversity in dealing with stress and isolation and confinement, which is just very, very difficult as far as our well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. And, each and every week you usually have a great, topic that you'd like to bring up and address for our listeners to enlighten us. Is there anything today that we're going to be diving into? So sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to hear.
Well, I'm hoping we do have some callers. I'm happy to answer any questions. But if our time is not filled, the first thing I want to talk about is being the person you can be proud of.
Okay.
The next topic I thought would be both meditation and relaxation. The third topic will be expanding sexual pleasure through the use of deep relaxation. And then the final, if we have the time for it, is a strong attitude and approach to both relationships and mental health.
Okay, great. So let's get started then.
Okay, so the first topic is being the person you can be proud of. And this is really, really important. Our self-esteem is the foundation for our effectiveness in our love relationships. Our capacity to love is directly based on our love for ourselves, our ability to accept and love ourselves. And that's not easy. Being human is not easy at all. Mm-hmm. We all experience a degree of suffering, but it's fairly easy to be harsh upon ourselves and to look at our limitations and our shortcomings and certainly our failures. And it's rather easy to get down on ourselves.
Yeah.
And many of us have a disadvantage right from the beginning of our lives when we may have been born into a challenging emotional environment that may not have been very supportive. So it's a kind of setup for already not feeling very good about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And operating on a daily basis as the person that we can be proud of by making choices that improve the lives of others around us, that result in effective behavior and actions and good outcomes, helps us to feel better and better and improve our emotional situation, improve our relationship with ourselves. And this is where it all begins, is how we feel about ourselves. And even if we struggle at feeling good about ourselves, I encourage each one of the listeners to start to shift that inner relationship. It's so easy to be harsh upon ourselves. It's so easy to get down on ourselves and inwardly in our thoughts, which forms an inner dialogue, a conversation between me and myself.
Mm-hmm.
To shift that inner conversation qualitatively so that we are now having a gentler, more positive conversation, even though we might not yet be the person that we would like to be. Right? So to talk to ourselves with kindness, to talk to ourselves with gentleness or encouragement, to insist that that inner dialogue is the kind of conversation that we would have with a very good friend, a supportive, kind friend, and start to shift our self-regard, to look upon ourselves as somebody who needs support, who doesn't need to be beaten up or to be talked to harshly or to even be talked to with disrespect. Because a lot of people who struggle at feeling good about themselves, they actually talk to themselves in a very hurtful, negative, harsh manner. And that does not help us to be the person we can be proud of. Right? So the challenge I put out to the listeners is today to do a few things through the day that causes you to experience yourself as a person you can be proud of. Mm-hmm. It might be in the form of, instead of expressing anger when something's upsetting or hurtful, expressing anger in a way that gives payback or pushes somebody away or expresses that somebody else is no good. Shift that to speak about what you need instead, or give back something that's led of something that's angry or pain-filled. To start to shift the behavior and actions and the way that we respond to both others and the world by shifting to becoming the person that you can be proud of. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's the beginning of the foundation for having more effective and satisfying love relationships, is that relationship between us and ourselves. Mm-hmm. All right? Jill, anything come to mind when I was speaking about that?
No, I'm here. I'm just listening with our listeners. And I forgot to also, open up the phone lines for you. You did mention if we have callers. So usually I don't do that for another 5 minutes. But let me put the number out there, 631-627-1840. If you want to call now, I'll open them up just in case. If you'd like to ask any questions to Andrew Aaron yourself. Obviously, we have some great discussion today here again, talking about our self-esteem. My goodness, I want to be the person that I'm proud of. I think we all do. But we all have our own inhibitions and our own issues that some of us need to work on. So we're talking about being the best person you can be and to be proud of. Then we're going to get into meditation, relaxation. So again, keep it tuned here to Business Talk Radio, 631-627-1840. And Andrew, you can continue the conversation.
Okay. Another effort that our listeners can make regarding being the person they can be proud of is big when it comes to self-esteem, but also certainly in our love relationships. If we are unable to forgive ourselves for our own shortcomings, then we're going to be quite limited in our ability to forgive our partner. And in our love relationships, most of us are in a relationship with or married to a human being. And human beings tend to make lots of mistakes, fail at times, demonstrate limitations. And so our ability to forgive ourselves for our past mistakes and our past failures is going to be essential to shift our focus, to shift our quality of self-esteem from lower to higher. So perhaps there's a time today when you may forgive yourself for a recent mistake, for forgiving yourself for something that you did poorly, or creating an outcome that was not what you'd hoped for or expected, because you do not need to be perfect. You just need to be human, okay? So that lends itself to a shift now to talk about relaxation and meditation. We will have difficulty relaxing if we look upon ourselves in a harsh or negative way. If we highlight what's wrong with us, what our failures are, what our limitations are, instead of being at peace with ourselves, instead of accepting ourselves for the person and the human being we are. Because as a human being, we are a collection of both strengths and wonderful qualities, but also shortcomings and limitations. And that's normal. That's part of being human. We are not, as I said before, very important statement, we are not perfect beings. We are human beings. And actually, we are born with limitations and shortcomings. That's part of our being. That's part of our role. That's the way we should be, actually. So in order to love ourselves, we must accept that we have built in limitations, shortcomings, qualities that do not always match the circumstances, so that we feel good or we look good. But if we're able to accept ourselves just as we are, now we will have greater capacity to be able to relax. If our inner space in our mind is not a harsh or hostile environment, if it's a calmer environment, to relaxation. And relaxation is such an important state. It's essential for our well-being. And our physical health is also tied in. Our bodies are connected to our minds. We are a holistic being, and all parts of us, each part affects the other parts. And so our ability in our minds to achieve a relaxed state will also help our bodies to be healthy. The ability to relax is a vital strength to possess in order to achieve well-being. Mm-hmm. Being able to be relaxed is also vital for effectiveness and producing good outcomes in everything we do. And the ability to be relaxed is essential to love. It's essential to love another effectively. Mm-hmm. And meditation is a practice I highly recommend. It is a practice of deliberately relaxing. It is practicing relaxation. It strengthens our skill at relaxing. It's the practice of sitting with ourselves. It doesn't have to be sitting. It could be standing. It could be walking. It could be a variety of activities in which we empty our minds and we let go of everything, and we are just with our being for a period of time. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a misconception about meditation. A lot of people have tried it, and a lot of people say, oh yeah, I've tried that. I really wasn't able to empty my mind. It was really kind of uncomfortable. I really feel like I failed. So I've kind of tried that. I've done with that, and time to move on to something else. Mm-hmm. And that's a misconception. Meditation is not actually about deliberately stilling your mind, because our minds are very busy places, and it's almost impossible to quiet the mind. And when we try, if we use our strength to force our mind to be quiet, guaranteed you're going to fail. That's a very, very frustrating experience. And I can certainly understand anybody who thought that that was the essential requirement would feel like, yeah, I don't have the strength or I don't have the skills to successfully meditate. But instead, I encourage the listeners to start to have a different idea about meditation. Meditation is time for you to give yourself a little bit of your own complete and undivided loving attention. Mm-hmm. Just to be with yourself for a little bit of time, undistracted. It could start out with 2 minutes, just sitting with yourself and just watching the kinds of thoughts that flow in and out of your mind. Mm-hmm. Just get more familiar with yourself and more familiar with the kind of thoughts that you tend to have. And a lot of those thoughts will reflect how you feel inside about yourself and about your life circumstances, about your situation and those around you. And that's a good start, just to become more familiar with yourself and give yourself some of your own loving and undivided attention, because you're not going to still the mind. Eventually, with a lot of practice, there is a way to still the mind, but it's not going to come from using all your strength to force the mind to be quiet. That will only backfire on you, and the mind will get more busy and kind of rebel.
Yeah.
The reason why meditation is so important is when we're able to quiet ourselves, we now have access to the deeper parts of ourselves, and that's very rejuvenating. It supports a stronger immune system, and in this day and age of the pandemic, we need that. We need a strong immune system to maintain our health. The more stressed we are, the more worried we are, the more anxious we actually become more susceptible to illness and physical problems. So meditation is an extremely healthy practice in which there's no negative side effects. It is a pure and natural state that supports our highest well-being. And so it supports being the person you can be proud of. Also, meditation helps to both manage pain, reduce pain, because it increases our pain threshold. So it can be very helpful in managing chronic pain and helping us reduce suffering, which is so important. A lot of people suffer with chronic pain. It's very, very difficult. Also, meditation and the ability to relax helps to expand our experience of sexual pleasure. For a lot of people, sexual activity is an anxiety-producing activity because it requires both closeness and vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Also, it requires exposure to our bodies, and there's the expectation that we're going to be unclothed and naked, and for a lot of people, their bodies are the source of discomfort, anxiety, and struggle at self-esteem, and so that tends to increase our anxiety and stress. But meditation and practicing relaxation can help. So in moments of vulnerability, like sexual experiences, we're able to be more relaxed. And people who regularly practice deep relaxation and can bring that into experiences of intimacy find that they expand their experience of sexual pleasure, that they have more pleasure, and they can experience higher states of arousal. They can experience more excitement, which allows sexual experiences to be much, much more fulfilling and connecting.
Yeah.
All these things that I'm talking about link together.
Got it. And
Andrew,
we just had to take we usually take a break halfway through. We're a little past that. I'm just going to take a very quick commercial break. We at least have to do one quick commercial. So let's do that. Give us the best form of your contact information again, and then we'll be right back with more.
Yes, I invite everyone to visit my website at helpforpassion.com. That's help, F-O-R, passion.com.
Great. 631-627-1840 if you have any questions. Stand by. I'll be right back after this quick break.
New Day Yoga and Wellness LLC. Stress, anxiety, the daily grind with no time. It is time to unwind with a new day. No matter your age, come to New Day, where yoga and wellness are reborn. You will look better, feel better, even have more energy. This is a new brand of yoga that even healthcare professionals can get behind. Come to New Day for the new you. Call 715-579-8545. Email linda@newdayyogawellness.com. Go to newdayyogawellness.com. New Day Yoga and Wellness LLC. Relax, renew, re-energize.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to In the Spotlight with Jill Nicolini on Business Talk Radio, where we take your business to the next level. Welcome back to Business Talk Radio. We are joined once again by Andrew Aaron here from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Helpforpassion.com is his website. Again, just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions, you can reach out 631-627-1840. We still have about 5 minutes left in the show. In the meantime, we'll continue our great conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jill. A topic that I didn't mention and I want to throw in there is coping with and reducing panic. Previously, we were talking about relaxation. Of course, that's the opposite of panic.
Yeah.
And so meditation and relaxation directly help people at coping with panic. If my practice is any indication of the general population, anxiety and heightened levels of anxiety, such as panic, are of epidemic proportions these days. We live in a very, very stressful society, fast-paced, with high expectations, and it's not easy to get our needs met, and that naturally creates a lot of anxiety. People have a lot of worry. People have a lot of fear. Certainly the pandemic has made that even more heightened. And I see a lot of people who show up with extremely uncomfortable high levels of anxiety and experiences of panic attacks. Panic and anxiety are actually very easily managed. And with some work, sufferers can reduce and eliminate panic attacks. And practicing relaxation, are part of the beginning strategies to reduce anxiety, stress, and those moments of peak anxiety of panic. Something else that I want sufferers to practice is start to watch the kind of thoughts they have and try to have as many positive thoughts instead of worry-based thoughts. And a lot of worry-based thoughts start with the two words, what if? What if this happens? What if that occurs? People with bad anxiety tend to catastrophize a lot and worry about the worst case scenarios, the most terrible things. And every time they think about catastrophes, they heighten their anxiety. And there's the tendency for all those people who suffer greatly with anxiety, they tend to whip up their anxiety through these kinds of worry thoughts. So I strongly encourage sufferers of anxiety and those who suffer panic attacks to start to challenge those kinds of what-if thoughts and catastrophic thoughts about terrible events or outcomes in the future, and instead say no to those thoughts and bring the attention back to the present moment. What's happening right now, right around me, right in front of me. Take the attention and bring it to the experience of now, which is a place where we're safe and we're okay, instead of predicting a future, okay? Reducing anxiety and panic is very important for our well-being. And that leads me just to a quick final topic, and that is a strong attitude and approach to both relationship and mental health. And that means to be the person we can be proud of, we have to say no to certain behaviors, to behaving in ways that are not effective at making our life better, behaviors that ultimately make our life troubled or with increased suffering. Say no to behaviors that hurt others around us, especially those who we love. Disrespectful behavior or angry behavior, just because we feel uncomfortable inside or have painful feelings, uncomfortable feelings, we still have to use all our strength to say no to troublesome or problematic behavior. There's no room for it in our lives. And that's part of becoming the person that we can be proud of. All right? Very important. Listeners, I know that there are some difficult days for you. I know that there's a lot of suffering. But take a little time to be gentle with yourself, be positive with yourself, relax a little time every day to give yourself some quiet, loving attention, and make the effort to be the person you can be proud of. Jill, anything else there that I missed?
Thank you. I just have to let you know we're having trouble with our phone lines. That's, I think, the issue why we're not getting any calls. The station just reached out to me, so I do apologize for that. Again, 631-627-1840 is our studio line, but it seems to be down at the moment. So in the meantime, everyone's troubleshooting that right back at the station. So just want to let you know that. So don't feel insulted that no one's called in. I'm sure people have been trying, but it seems to be an issue. So I just needed to let you know that.
Okay.
In summary today, just please, once again, just give everyone your best form of contact.
Yes, I can be found through my website. I invite the listeners to explore my website and learn everything they can about love, about mental health, about personal well-being, about relationship, and about sexuality. The website is helpforpassion.com. That's help, F-O-R, passion.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the conversation. Once again, Andrew Aaron, helpforpassion.com. You have a fantastic day, even a better weekend. How does that sound?
Thank you.
We're going to try to
Jill. I hope you have
slow
some
down.
wonderful plans.
Try to meditate. Well, it's Halloween, so we got the kids. That's going to be fun. But you're right. Try to slow down. Make time for yourself. It's always hard to do, but you have to remember that we need to relax and meditate. And I'll remember you said that. Thank you. You have a great day. Everyone else, please stay tuned. We have more Business Talk Radio coming right up after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to In the Spotlight with Jill Nicolini on Business Talk Radio, where we take your business to the next level.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives and the Ad Council.